How's it going, everybody? I'm Driftwood, and this is RPGMMV tutorial. We're going to go over a little bit about tile sets. Now, I'm no expert on making custom tile sets. The ones that I've made have pretty much sucked, and I'm not the master at making cool-looking maps. I've seen people make way cooler-looking maps than the ones that I can come up with, but I do know the MV database, and I can help you figure out how to make the best of the tile sets that you do have. Even if you only have default tile sets, you can make some unique looking maps if you switch up the database a little bit. So let's look at how to do that. So go in MV and open up your little cogwheel, go to the end of the database, go to tile sets, and at the bottom change your maximum and increase it. So you got a free spot to play with there. Now the first thing we need to decide is it going to be a world type or an area type? And this will make a difference in what types of images you load into your 9 possible images that you could use. So a tile set is basically 9 PNG files, or up to 9 PNG files that you can use, that the MV database will auto tile some, and it will pretty much just give you different pages of stuff that you can paint. So let's go ahead and say, like, this is going to be an area type. The first thing we're going to do is find an A1 map. You'll notice that all of these the A1s are named. They're actually the ones that come with the engine are named, but they're put in their own version. The overworld gets a few pages, the outside, the inside, and all that. But you can customize and make your own, and that's what we're going to be doing. So the first thing we're going to do is select. We can come up with a name of it, but we'll do that at the end. So we're going to say this is an area type, and we're going to pick 9 or up to 9 images. So let's go with A1. Let's see, that's probably this is going to give us some water tiles. That might look good, but let's skip to the dungeon one. This one will give us some water tiles as well, but also some extra stuff, so I'm leaning towards the dungeon one. But then you could also take these files into Photoshop or GIMP and put a filter over them, just a slight little grain filter or something to make it look a little bit different, which I've done with a lot of them. So we got dungeon 1, A1. Let's see. Inside A1. And we'll just basically pick one. Now we said this is going to be an area, so I kind of like this, so I'm going to go with outside A1. Now we're going to look for a ground tile, our A2. So we could take this ground tile, and if you look online and you look on the forums and RPG Maker Web and just Google search, you'll be able to find a lot of free tile sets. Also in the Discord server, links in the description below, there are sometimes people posting tile sets and artwork that they've made, and some of it, as long as you have permission, you can use in your game. So I kind of like this dungeon A2, but let's see what else we got inside A2. Well, we already picked the outside A1, right? Inside interior A2. So we're not going to pick the outside A2 because we already have the outside A1, and that's very similar to the outside default map. So we're going to stay away from picking that one. But we'll take this is our B. So we're still looking for A's. What else do we have for A2s? World A2. You could actually put that in here. But that's not exactly what I want. This converted from XP1 or 2003 maybe will work fine. So we'll use that for our A2. Now we're going to pick A3, and you can see the pattern of what we're doing. We're just kind of picking out of the ones we've got up to 9 of the correct, or, you know, who's to say what's correct, of the ones you want. Let's see, we got an outside, that one. Let's go with, like, that actually looks pretty good right there. We are looking for an A3 now. You're going to do this. Okay, this looks cool. The sci-fi outside A3. We'll go with that one. Now we're going to find our walls section, which is our A4. This one's pretty good. you know, got a lot of different patterns in it, but it's also very, very default, but that's okay. But this same pattern will work if you have non-default icons or PNG files as well. So we've got our inside A4, interior A4, outside A4, our sci-fi inside A4, that looks pretty cool too. And that would be our outside A4. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this inside A4. Boom. And now we need our A5, which is basically top layer type stuff. Let's see, dungeon A5. Or maybe it is tileset, because this is the dungeon A5, and it's basically like ground tiles. So most of this stuff is going to be ground tiles. So we'll pick an A5 now. We'll go with this outside A5. Boom. Now the B, C, D, and E, they only give you one selection. And this is going to be like rocks and like things that you can place on top of the tiles, the walls and the ceilings and the ground level. So we're going to find a B section map. This is actually a really good one, the Dungeon B. But I do have some filtered versions of it that I like to use. Let's see what else we got. An inside B. And while you're coming up with your selection, you can also think of what map you're going to be making. And you can design like a custom set of images for your tile set specifically for that map. So you're not limited to just the tile sets that they're given. You are limited to the artwork that you have to make the tile sets, but you can customize these tile sets to make them fit more of what you're looking for. Kind of like this B section right here, the interior tavern inn thing. So we might go with that. Yeah, let's go with that one. Right here, we'll select interior B, tavern, and inn for that one. Let's do the same thing for C, and we'll repeat this pattern until we get all of them, because it's not going to hurt you to have more of them in your tile set. You don't always have to use them all. So this is Dungeon C. We just need a C map. This is a cool one. It's got lots of armor sets and stuff. I actually really like this one, inside C. Let's go to the others and see which ones we have. An outside C. Some pillars. Some customized ones. I think we'll go with that one. CDE. This will work for multiple layers. We can put this one on a different layer since it's it'll work with any of those layers probably. So we'll take something else for this C section. Cool, we'll go with the outside C for the sci-fi map. Find a D section. Or a PNG file to fit in the D. Cool. We'll go with one of these. These might be made by NoobKX. I think NoobKX came up with these sets, with this one particularly. Kind of like that, the roofing on that, so we'll take that one. And then finally, one thing for E, Cave E. And you could always make your own as well. The higher letter ones are easier to make because they are like top level, top layer. The auto tile ones are a bit harder to customly make. Okay, I know we had this one we could use. That'll work for E. So we'll go back to the outside E one if we don't find a better one. I don't really have a ton of tile sets, but I would like to get more and possibly make my own. Eventually I'll have my own made. Probably several of them, but it's just, it's a little bit hard to make your own, in my opinion. It's not the easiest thing in MV to do. It's easier in other engines to make your tile sets. There is a tool, but I didn't find it that useful. Alright, so now we've got our icon sets, or our tile set rather, and it looks like it's going to have like some outside stands, some walls, and some outside stuff, like, but it also has some things to make an interior, and these tiles could make an inside or an outside, pretty much. So the most important selection is probably your A section, but that's not it. Now that we've got it, we need to name it, so we're going to call this one Custom Town 1, or whatever, right? Custom Town tile set. That's redundancy. Anyway, so after we get that, we need to go through and decide, are we going to be able to walk over these? Are we going to be able to not walk over these tiles? Or are we going to be able to walk under these tiles? So you need to go through each of these tiles and change the 0 to an X or a star. So let's see, this water, we're not going to walk on that or that, nothing. So with an X, it's saying we can't walk on them. So we're going to put X's where on the tiles that we don't want the player to walk over. But we're going to leave 0 or O on the tiles that we're going to let the player walk on. So we'll go ahead and make this an X. I'm not sure what that is, but it'll be an X. Let the player walk over all of those. Even on the roofs, we'll let the player walk, but we won't let the player walk on the walls. So we go through like that, and we say, those are fine, but this is a wall, so we'll close off the walls. That's a roof, this is a wall. And you'll see it'll work out to a similar pattern because how MV works, so it'll work just like this. If you make your custom icon sets, they have to be the right size, of course. Otherwise, they won't line up correctly. You need 32 by 48 is the size. We'll make these blank spots X's, like right there, there, and right there. These holes where you can't walk on them, but the rest of them, yeah. And this one doesn't look like, it sort of looks like a wall. It's up to your interpretation of how you want to use them as well. Something that looks like a wall could be a flooring tile or something if you set it up that way and it looks right. Nothing wrong with that. We'll make it so that you can't walk up this cliff like that. And make this X unpassable, and I think the rest is good. So you see what we did on section A here. We're going to repeat that process, so we're on the B tab. So we click on B, and we're going to do the same thing. And on this one, I'm going to go through this one to show you one more thing. So maybe you want the player to be able to walk behind these tiles. That's when you put a little star. So if this little star is there, they're going to be able to walk behind. It'll appear like the icon, the tile icon is above the player. So if we close that off, and it'll work like that. Otherwise, or we can make it blocked off like that and make the first one passable so it looks like the player can walk all the way up. I'd probably go with this method. And then these are not passable. So the one that gets blocked off is that tile. You can see now the player will be able to walk all the way up to about right here. And then you'll see the player's like head pop out over this little stove or whatever. And it'll look like the player's getting blocked off like right up next to the stove. And it actually looks pretty neat. So we'll do that method and close the back off. but we'll keep this front an open space to walk on, and that works fine. So this is also going to be closed off right there. And when it's just blank spaces, it's up to you. You could leave those blank if you want, but I'm just going to put them as not passable for now. This is going to be a star, and then these will be blocked off. Now this is a difficult situation when you have an icon that goes from the left and the right of a side. Like it's one tile size, but it's like split between two for spacing. It's really up to you how you want to do it. I think what I'm going to do is make this table block off both of these. Otherwise it'll look like the player's walking on the table, which could be fine. Like I said, it's a matter of your perspective and how you want to handle that. And we'll repeat this process for for the rest of these maps. Or we could go like this, actually. I think that might look better. So you can walk up to it right here, but then it's blocked off, and then walk behind it right there. That makes sense to me. All these little things that you could normally like walk over, I'm not going to block them off because I kind of feel like this one should work like that though. Yeah, let's try that. That probably works better. With the blocked off bottom and then walk behind the top tile. We'll go with that. You could also right click to go back and left click to go forward. So if you have a circle and you right click it, it's going to go to a star. If you have a circle and you left click, it's going to go to X. Remember, star is above the player, X is blocked off, and circle is passable. So when you're making your own tile set like this, you'll have to do some sort of manual editing like I'm doing right here. But that's good because then you can customize the tile set to work exactly like you want it to work. And I think what we'll do is make all of these invisible tiles as not passable. And might come back in here later and make all these above player. But we'll see how I use the map and what I need it to do. So that's the B section. We go to the C section, and you go to the D section, the E section, and so forth. And you repeat this process. So I'll do this later on after the video, but you see what I did right there. But that's not the only thing you can do with these tile sets. That's just the passage section of the, there's still more things. Like, let's go back to, say, let's say this swamp tile right here. I could, instead of making this impassable, I can make it passable, but we can say that the player can only go one direction, And I believe you have to put in note tags for this, for that tile. Also, you can specify if it's a ladder tile or not. Like, see this little thing? We can make that a ladder, so the player will climb up it. You could define something as a bush. I'm not sure what that does. I think it just makes it so that you can walk past it and stuff. You can make something work as a counter, like it'll push the player back or it'll stop the player from moving. Damage floor, you could take damage. So if I set this to a spike right here, now the player will still be able to walk over it because I set it to 0, but they'll take damage because of the spike. This isn't the best way to trigger damaging floor tiles. It's better to set it up with events because you can control it better. But there is a way to do it efficiently with this tag, this note tag, and people have done it that way before. Terrain tag is another way to identify, just a way for the game to store information on what kind of tile you're using. So you can set like all the roofings of your house to like 3, and then whenever you reference a 3, you can do something in the game like, I don't know, make the clouds thicker or something if you're on a roof. I don't know, just whatever, right? But you can, it's going to open up some possibilities with with plugins to use tile sets and terrain tags and everything too. So there's a lot of functionality inside of your tile sets section of your database. Once we've got our map created, now we haven't fully created it, right? We still have to go through C, D, and E and do all of the passage things. The rest of these you don't really need to mess with, but you can, and I recommend you at least take a look at them and realize the functionality they have and what they can do. But basically, you will have to set up the passage for all your maps. Once you've done that, you hit OK, you save your game, and then you can create a new map. And when you create a new map, you can like specify what tile set you want to use right there underneath the name. So we just created a custom town one, so we'll select that, and we'll just say like 26 by, I don't know, 22, 999. We don't need anything, and this is going to be test map 1. Boom. So we've got our test map 1. Now you can see that our tile set that's being selected is much more detailed than the tile set that's default, right? Now, all of these tiles are default, except for a couple of them that were made by NoobKX and whatnot, and this one isn't NoobKX's. It's that person. You can zoom in and see. But, yeah, that's how you would put together a basic tile set and kind of come up with your own tile set out of a bunch of other tile sets, because the tile set in the database, like I said, is 9 pictures. It's not just a single picture, and even if you're using the same pictures as everybody else, you could use the combination differently. You could even use tiles that are ceilings as floorings. You could use floorings as ceilings. You just got to change the passable thing and make it look good, right? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I just wanted to go over quickly a little bit about tile sets and how you would put together like a custom looking one, even though it's all default, but it's still going to look a little bit different because of just the way that you've selected your icon set. You can just go around making a little map here. This is a terrible map. I don't even know what I'm making. But I do believe that's really the end of this tutorial. Just wanted to give you guys a little extra content and everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial on icons or tile sets. I know what we're doing. Oh my god. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I've got RPGMMV tutorials. I've got Game Maker Studio 2 tutorials. I do first impressions videos. I do QA testing. Yeah, so if you have a game and you're interested in some feedback or some like hardcore beta testing, very flexible with pricing, and I do a lot of stuff pro bono. You know, so hit me up with your whatever offers you've got, and if you have a game that just needs some eyes on it, whatnot. The link to my Discord is in the description below. Love to have you come hang out. A lot of helpful people there and some resources there and extra videos, like 20-30 second teaser videos and whatnot. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.